Hey everyone, welcome to another garden video. In today's garden video, we are going to talk about deadheading chrysanthemums. So over here, you'll see my chrysanthemum plant. These flowers on it are already spent, or meaning they're dead. They've already been pollinated. That's its main purpose. So that's basically the end of it. I wish flowers lasted longer for humans to enjoy it, but in terms of the flower life cycle, it's already been completed. But one thing about nature is that flowers will rebloom. So there are several ways where you can deadhead the plant. Number one, you can use shears or scissors to cut off the blooms. As long as you cut it off below a node or just like the flower head, that's sufficient enough. Another way is to pinch it off or just use your hand to pinch it off, but I usually use shears or scissors as it's a cleaner cut. So you can just have a bag nearby that will collect all the spent blooms and you can start cutting away. Just make sure everything's clean in the garden, you've picked up all these spent flowers or leaves, and we're good to go. So let's get started. As you can see here, I'm cutting off the spent flower bloom head. There are many benefits to deadheading flowers and plants, especially with like blooms that have been already spent. The first one is to clean up the overall appearance. Now, by just cutting off these spent flower blooms, it'll make the plant much more brighter. The foliage will shine through. Basically, just to remove all the spent flowers, and it just makes the plant look overall much better. The second reason to deadhead plants is to mainly conserve energy and to control the spreading of seeds. Now, what happens if you don't deadhead is there will start to be seed pods growing on these flower heads. The plant will divert its energy to creating these seed pods, creating seeds, and we don't really want seeds. We want blooms, right, on our plants. So that's why we want to deadhead it. By deadheading, the plant will no longer need to provide energy, at least to conserve these dead blooms, because even though these blooms are dead, they still are attached to the plant itself, so it does require some form of energy. So by cutting it all off, the plant is able to conserve its energy at the base and divert it to basically growing the plant and creating more blooms for the future. So that is the main second point, and overall it really just encourages the plant to grow much thicker and fuller than before. So I can't wait to see in a few months how this plant will turn out to be. So at this point, I've cut off all of these spent blooms, and the plant looks overall so much better. Only the foliage is showing, which is completely better, which is completely good. And it's good that it can now divert the energy to creating blooms in the future. So already looks very good. So here's a close-up of my plant. I can't tell if this is a flower or a leaf pod. I need to do more research, and I'm still learning a lot. So we'll see how this is, but definitely looks so much better overall. So thank you for joining me. I hope you found this informative, and I'll see you next time.